Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the shadows of Port Charles. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's take a walk through the corridors of power, where nothing is ever as it seems. We are going to look closely at the corporate battlefield of deception, and specifically, the recent arrival of Serena Baldwin. On the surface, the narrative General Hospital is feeding us looks like a classic, heartwarming family reunion. Serena has returned to town with a fresh face and a supportive attitude, stepping up as the devoted daughter coming back to support her adopted mother, Lucy Coe, during an incredibly turbulent time. We all know Lucy is currently drowning in a massive, high-stakes corporate power struggle. She is fighting for her professional life against Brooklyn Quartermaine and the always formidable, utterly ruthless Tracy Quartermaine. So Serena arriving to offer moral support and a shoulder to lean on makes perfect sense to the casual observer. Something about that moment stayed with me, though. I watched the way Serena interacted with the people in town, and more importantly, I watched the way Lucy Coe handled her daughter's introduction to the current players at Deception. It was the way Lucy immediately and deliberately began guiding Serena into the direct orbit of Michael Corinthos. At first, it didn't seem important. It just looked like a proud mother introducing her daughter to a prominent, wealthy figure in the Port Charles business community. But the more I watched the interaction, the more it felt like a highly calculated chess move. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Why Michael? Why right now? To understand why this is so strange, we have to look at Michael Corinthos' current position on the board. Michael isn't just a friendly face or a random executive. He is the man who just acquired a massive, game-changing block of Deception shares from Maxie Jones. By taking control of Maxie's shares, Michael suddenly holds the deciding vote, the golden ticket that could tip the scales in this vicious corporate war. He is the ultimate swing vote. And Serena, with her innocent charm, her wide-eyed curiosity, and her seemingly unblemished intentions, is suddenly right there, smiling at him, laughing at his jokes, and inserting herself into his daily routine. To fully grasp why Michael is the perfect mark for this operation, we have to look back at his history. Michael Corinthos is a brilliant CEO when he is sitting in the boardroom at Aurora or ELQ, but his personal life has always been his Achilles heel. He has a well-documented history of being manipulated by women who present themselves as vulnerable or misunderstood. We all remember the absolute devastation caused by Nell Benson. Michael wants to be the hero. He wants to save the damsel in distress. Serena Baldwin, with her sweet demeanor and the narrative of just trying to help her poor, embattled mother, fits that archetype perfectly. I keep coming back to how easily Michael drops his guard when he feels he is protecting someone. Serena doesn't need to steal his shares by force. She just needs to make him believe that handing them over or voting in alignment with her and Lucy is the noble, heroic thing to do. She will play on his savior complex like a finely tuned instrument. Let's trace the lines of this conflict by looking at the opposition. Tracy Quartermaine has made absolutely no secret of her deep, burning disdain for Lucy Coe. In fact, Tracy has been having private, hushed meetings with Stella Henry, openly admitting that completely dismantling Lucy's life and torturing her professionally will be an unexpected, delightful bonus of her grand master plan. Tracy is not just trying to win control of Deception. She wants to humiliate Lucy in the process. She wants to erase Lucy's legacy from the cosmetics empire she helped build. Tracy is operating at peak ruthlessness, treating the company like a war zone where no prisoners are taken. Then we have Brooklyn Quartermaine, who is equally fiercely protective of her family's assets and her own position within Deception. Brooklyn is currently dealing with a massive amount of personal chaos, desperately trying to protect her marriage to Harrison Chase while juggling the fallout of her own recent scandals. Brooklyn is stressed, paranoid, and highly aggressive. When cornered, a Quartermaine lashes out with everything they have. Lucy Coe is fully aware of this. She knows that she cannot win a direct head-to-head war of attrition against the combined forces of Tracy and Brooklyn. They have too much money, too much corporate influence, and a generational talent for ruthless business tactics. We also have to consider Lucy Coe's psychological state right now. Lucy has spent decades building deception into a global brand. It is her life's work, her legacy, and her identity. The thought of losing it to Tracy Quartermaine, a woman who has historically looked down on Lucy as nothing more than a nuisance, is driving Lucy to a point of sheer desperation. When a person is that desperate, they stop playing by the traditional rules. Bringing Serena into this toxic, venomous corporate war is a massive risk. It exposes her daughter to the crossfire of the Quartermaine. But maybe there's another layer here. What if Lucy isn't exposing Serena to the crossfire, but rather unleashing Serena as the ultimate weapon? Lucy knows that Tracy expects a loud, messy, theatrical fight from her. By stepping back and letting Serena quietly infiltrate the enemy lines, Lucy is executing a masterclass in misdirection. So, what does a desperate, cornered survivor like Lucy Coe do? She doesn't charge the front lines. She brings in a proxy. She brings in someone the Quartermaines won't immediately recognize as a lethal threat. As I watch Serena navigate these treacherous waters, I realize she is playing the role of the naive newcomer absolutely perfectly. But it doesn't seem accidental. Every smile, every casual encounter with Michael Corinthos, every seemingly innocent question she asks about the company's structure feels meticulously choreographed. We are being led to believe Serena is just here to help her mom carry some boxes and review some spreadsheets, but I am starting to see the outlines of a much more aggressive strategy unfolding in the background. The more I think about it, the more I realize we might be looking at the wrong narrative entirely. We are all focused on Lucy trying to save her skin, but what if Serena isn't just the loyal daughter blindly following her mother's instruction? What if Serena is actually the architect of a hostile takeover, a brand new, highly intelligent villain being quietly built up by General Hospital right before our very eyes? I believe Serena is not innocent at all. I think she is a shark swimming just below the surface, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Her innocent act is a brilliant camouflage, designed specifically to disarm the notoriously paranoid Quartermaines and the usually cautious Michael Corinthos. And this brings me to the shadow beneath the story. Let's look at the other major arrival in Port Charles, Hudson. He is a mysterious, highly capable business executive who arrived in town at the exact same time as Serena. The official story circulating through the rumor mill is that Hudson is looking for a specific person, perhaps chasing down old ghosts or looking into local mysteries. But in a town like Port Charles, a savvy, wealthy investor doesn't just wander around aimlessly looking for ghosts. Hudson is a man who recognizes a golden opportunity when he sees one. Right now, deception is a massive, highly profitable cosmetics empire that is bleeding heavily from internal division. The board is fracking jeeters, the founders are at each other's throats, and the stock is likely volatile due to the leadership crisis. For a corporate raider like Hudson, deception is not just a company. It is a wounded animal waiting to be conquered. It is the perfect target for a leveraged buyout or a hostile takeover. But a smart businessman knows he can't just walk in the front door and demand the keys. He needs an inside connection. He needs a Trojan horse. What if we're missing something massive here? I keep coming back to the timing of their arrivals. Serena Baldwin and Hudson debuting in Port Charles on the exact same day, July 30. In this universe, timing is almost never a coincidence. It is entirely possible that Hudson didn't just stumble into Port Charles by accident. I keep wondering whether Hudson and Serena are already deeply connected. What if they are secretly working together, communicating behind encrypted phones and meeting in the dead of night to finalize their plans? Even more intriguing, it is entirely possible that General Hospital is setting up Hudson as Serena's secret boyfriend and silent business partner. If you ask me, this changes the entire landscape of the deception. This is no longer just Lucy Coe throwing a desperate Hail Mary to fend off Brooklyn and Tracy. This is the formation of a brand new, highly lethal corporate alliance, Serena, Lucy, and Hudson. a trinity of ambition, legacy, and ruthless capital. If Hudson is Serena's partner, his arrival in Port Charles is the deployment of their heavy artillery. Their first objective in this secret war? Neutralizing Michael Corinthos. As we discussed, Serena will use her undeniable charm to build trust with Michael, slowly manipulating him into a position of vulnerability. Once she has his ear, she will find a way to make him transfer, sell, or forfeit the crucial shares he bought from Maxie Jones, effectively removing the biggest obstacle from their path. If Serena manages to compromise Michael's voting power, the dominoes will start to fall rapidly. But Serena can't execute a complete takeover on her own. That is where the shadow of Hudson looms large, creating a growing tension that you can almost feel in the air. While Serena plays the sweet, innocent distraction on the front lines and Lucy manages the internal chaos and media spin at the deception offices, Hudson can operate entirely in the dark. Let's talk about the specific mechanics of how Hudson could dismantle the Quartermaine's hold on deception from the shadows. A man of his rumored wealth and connections doesn't just buy shares directly under his own name. He uses shell companies, offshore holding firms, and proxy buyers. I can easily see a storyline where mysterious hedge funds suddenly start acquiring small, seemingly insignificant blocks of deception stock. Brooke, Lynn, and Tracy wouldn't even notice the accumulation until it was too late. Furthermore, Hudson could use his influence to manipulate the public perception of the company. A leaked memo here, a delayed product launch there, a sudden drop in consumer confidence, all orchestrated by Hudson to drive the stock price down, making it cheaper for his shell companies to gobble up the remaining shares. It is a classic corporate raiding tactic, and it would leave the Quartermaines fighting a ghost they can't even identify. If this secret trio manages to secure a 2/3 majority through these shadow tactics, the Quartermaines' reign over deception will be instantly obliterated. I can't shake the feeling that Hudson's role is going to be even more sinister and aggressive. To truly defeat Tracy Quartermaine, you can't just outvote her. You have to completely paralyze her. What if Hudson is already planting the seeds for a massive financial sabotage? Imagine a scenario where Hudson uses his dark corporate connections to trigger a federal audit or a financial scandal, specifically targeting the Quartermaine family's holding. We all know Tracy and Brooklyn have crossed ethical lines in the past to secure their power. If Hudson fabricates or exposes a trail of questionable financial transactions, Tracy and Brooklyn will be instantly thrown into a desperate, all-consuming battle to save their family's reputation and avoid prison time. They will be completely consumed by lawyers, subpoenas, and press conferences. They won't have a single second to look at what is happening inside deception. And while the Quartermaines are drowning in this engineered crisis, Serena and Hudson will simply walk through the front doors of the cosmetics empire, change the locks, and take the throne. The sheer elegance of this trap is terrifying because it relies entirely on the Quartermaines underestimating Serena Baldwin. Of course, we haven't seen the smoking gun yet. There is no signed contract linking Hudson to Serena that we know of, and Lucy is still playing the part of the embattled founder perfectly. But the atmosphere in Port Charles is shifting. You can feel the heavy, suffocating weight of a storm gathering just over the horizon. Serena's innocent smiles are starting to look a little too sharp. Hudson's quiet observations from the corners of the Metro Court feel entirely too predatory. And Lucy's sudden burst of strategic confidence implies she knows she has an ace hidden up her sleeve. Something feels unfinished. The board is set, the pieces are moving, but the players haven't fully revealed their hands. We are waiting for that final devastating move. If this theory holds true, we are not just watching a petty fight over lipstick shades and marketing campaigns. We are witnessing the birth of a ruthless new dynasty in Port Charles, one that is ready to burn the Quartermaine legacy to the ground to build their own empire. And the most chilling part? Brooklyn and Tracy are still looking in the wrong direction, completely unaware of the shadow creeping up behind them. The game has changed, and I can't wait to see who makes the next move.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.